And now, The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning, I'm Anita Khan, and I'm sitting in for the lovely Sabrina Turner right here on the Business Buzz this morning. In this segment of the Business Buzz, we will speak with astronomy. We'll talk astronomy with our guest, Mr. Richard McLeod. He's the president of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society. Thanks for joining us on the Business Buzz this morning. The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211, and also by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Anita. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you in the studio this morning. You're looking sprightly and ready to rock and roll on the Business Buzz this morning.
Thanks very much.
Richard, can you share some details about the history and mission of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society?
Yes. The Astronomy Society was started off in the 70s by a group of teachers at the community college. And after they'd met and had various viewing sessions, it was eventually decided to make it into a non-government organization. We had a lady who was a lawyer, and we met at Santiago's restaurant in those days because the owner was the president. And we set up the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society as a charitable non-government organization. And so that was the formal start of the Astronomy Society.
And here you are today.
Yes, we've been going strong since
The
then.
president.
Yes.
How does it feel, Richard?
Well, following a long list of other presidents who've done a lot of work in keeping the Astronomy Society going and functioning and giving out information.
And I'm pretty sure you'll keep this going strong for a very long time.
Well, I'll do my best.
As long as you're at the helm. How can people join the organization? And what are the requirements?
When we set up the organization, it required membership, $15. But nowadays, that's really only if you are on the committee for meetings, like at an AGM, then you'd have to be a fully paid-up member. But it works that we just have guests. People come. We don't really need that money to keep things going, so we just have people who are interested. They keep in contact. They come to our viewing sessions at like Pedro Castle or wherever we have them, and they're members just like anyone else.
Okay. How do you finance the organization, seeing that you don't collect membership fees or dues and stuff like that?
We go out to the hotels every now and again, and they sponsor us to show their guests, the stars and planets, whatever's available, and that finances our organizations far more than membership would.
Okay, very good. How often does the CIS meet?
We meet every month, if possible, weather permitting, at Pedro Castle for a viewing session where we take out the telescopes and we look at what's available, and we have lots of discussions with people there about what we're seeing. And usually it's from about, just as it gets dark, till about 9 o'clock or so at night.
Stargazing.
Right, yes, we're stargazing.
I like that. I love to stargaze. I stargaze even during the day.
Oh, how do you do that, Anita?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Richard. The Cayman Islands Astronomical Society. Has your organization partner with the schools in promoting astronomy in education, Richard.
Yes, that's one of the things that we really want to promote. So we are available to schools. We have set up viewing sessions in the night at schools. That's a bit difficult because parents have to bring their children and often teachers are there. But we've worked with a number of primary schools particularly to bring the night sky to them. Quite often they're doing projects on the solar system and they want to see the planets and stars that they've been talking about.
Do you often get the students to come out? I mean, I know they have to go home and do homework, and they get to bed early, especially in the Eastern District, because they have to leave home so early to fight for the traffic. But do you normally get a lot of students who come out?
Yes, with Savannah Primary School, we had over 100 parents and children out. And it's not just schools. There's other organizations that we have been able to hold viewing sessions for, groups that often have night activities. There's church groups, there's scouts and guides, and we have met with them to take the portable telescope either to them or have them come to a site that is suitable for us.
Okay. Richard, we're going to take a quick break. In case you're just joining us, this is the Business Buzz. I'm Anita Khan, sitting in for Sabrina Turner. And today's Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and by Cayman Insurance Center.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Similar to Cayman Brac, the northern shores of Little Cayman equally offered protection from the prevailing winds, with locations such as Bloody Bay and Anchorage Bay offering a calm and sheltered stretch of water near the shore in which ships could ride at anchor. Fresh water was also available at 2 nearby locations, including the limestone cavity just inland from Bloody Bay, which was noted on early English Admiralty navigational charts. After archaeological digs, another well, located a few hundred yards near Jackson's Point, produced cultural debris including ceramic fragments, tobacco pipes, bottles, and buttons, suggesting that the well had been used for at least 200 years. The site would become locally known as the Pirates' Well due to the long-standing legend of the Battle of Bloody Bay, whereby the local pirates fought the Royal Navy.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced from The Maritime Heritage of the Cayman Islands by Roger C. Smith.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Circle of Love Women's Ministry and DCFS would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support of the annual Child Month Breakfast on May 11, 2019. Cayman National Bank, Persona Events, Wendy's, Book Nook, Marriott Beach Resort, Atlantic Kids, Foster's Food Fair, and Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. Thank you, gold sponsors, for empowering, impacting, and encouraging the future of the Cayman Islands. For more information on the Child Month Breakfast or to be a sponsor, contact Shanda Hunter at 922-3229.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Oh, Oh, gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Thank you for rejoining us on the Business Buzz. Anita Khan sitting in for Sabrina. In the studio with me this morning, Mr. Richard McLeod. Mr. Richard McLeod is the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society's president. Good morning again, Richard.
Good morning, Anita.
You're having fun?
Yes, I said.
We're having fun.
Yes.
This is interesting.
Well, yes, astronomy is interesting and fun.
Before we continue, what's the difference between astrology and astronomy?
Well, both are concerned with the stars and planets and what you see in the sky, but astronomy is the science of looking at the stars and the planets and what's out there. Astrology is more magical in a way, in that it implies a lot of things, that the sign you were born under controls your life, and you can work out day to day what you're going to do, if you're going to come into money, if you're going to travel, and things like that.
If you're going to come into money, I like that.
Right.
Right, Susan?
So it's fun, but astrology doesn't have a scientific basis. Although when we go out at night, it's nice to be able to find your star sign, like whether you're Leo or Taurus or Sagittarius.
Pisces,
yes.
Do you actually see two fish going in different directions?
Anything
relating to that?
You have to use a lot of imagination.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for that explanation, Richard. Appreciate it. Feedback. What kind of feedback do you normally receive from the students when they come up to Petro Castle?
Oh, young people, it's very easy to see that they're excited about it, because they call their parents to look and they say wow, and you just get the feeling of excitement from them.
How do you feel when they get all excited and they just want to talk about it? How do you feel as a president?
Oh, I feel great that they're showing interest, and that we've helped them to see what's really out there, and perhaps that it'll lead on to a much more thorough study.
Okay. Some people hesitate to get involved with astronomy because they either believe it requires expensive equipment. Does it really involve a lot of expensive equipment?
Yes, it can. You can get a cheap telescope for like $50 or so, and it comes with a narrow scope with spindly legs, and you can see things closer up. But if you want to get more into astronomy, you want to get an instrument that will give you a good view of whatever you're studying, Saturn, Jupiter, the moon. So that would cost a few $100s.
A few $100s?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it depends on how intense you want to do this.
Yes, of course. It could go into thousands of dollars. If you want to get into astrophotography, then you need special scopes with, computer drives would help and everything. They can be quite expensive.
So if you come in for the first time at these stargazing events, do you have to bring your own telescope?
No.
You provide that?
We had a meeting on just this Sunday gone, the 7th, and 4 of our members brought telescopes, and then the guests were able to go round those 4 telescopes and get slightly differing views of the moon, the Orion Nebula, and whatever else we were looking at.
Sometimes people, you say it's telescope and they don't know what it involves. Can you explain a little bit more about the use of the telescope? In a nutshell.
Yes, a telescope gathers light through the aperture. Mm-hmm. The bigger the aperture, the more light is gathered. Then it uses a system of lenses, or in some of the bigger telescopes, it has a large mirror. And then it focuses that light into an eyepiece where you see a magnified image.
Ah. Are there any reasons, specific reasons, why we're unable to see many stars at night anymore?
Yes, as we get more roads and we get those lights on the roads, then that light pollution stops us from seeing all but the brightest stars.
Do you remember right after Hurricane Ivan?
Yes, I do. It was great when the power was off.
Yes.
You could see the Milky Way clearly, and you could see a beautiful canopy of stars.
I think the best part, if there's a best part about Hurricane Ivan, for me, that was just looking at the stars at night, just looking out through the window. You had an astronomy conference lately?
Yes, there was one last May, and people from over the Caribbean came here. It was set up by Bill Rudy, Dr. Bill Rudy, who ran the observatory at UCCI, and unfortunately he passed away a little over a year ago in February, and he wasn't able to be there at the conference, but we were able to run it still in his memory.
Okay.
And it was really good to get all those experts from the States and various Caribbean countries.
What were some of the topics that you covered there at the conference?
There was colonization of Mars, what it would be like, what it would involve. And that's quite a big topic now, because NASA say that they are planning to put people, humans, onto Mars. At the moment, they've put 3 vehicles on Mars. The latest one, Curiosity, is still working. It's driving around, digging up bits of soil and analysing them and sending the information back. It's taking great pictures of the Martian surface, where you can see this red desert with the mountains in the background. You can, if you go on to NASA's website, you can get a good view of another planet as if you were just right there. Well, they're planning to send people there, and that would be a really fantastic thing, to have people living on another planet.
I'm not sure they can grow a mango tree over there, but why? You want to say something, Richard?
Well, one of the things that was interesting, also in the STEM conference, we had a similar talk about the colonization of Mars, and the lecturer who did that had bags of simulated Martian soil. We know enough about the Martian soil now to simulate it, 99% of what it's like, and we can start growing things like mango trees or whatever in it here on Earth, to see what kind of plants would be best for Mars.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue speaking with Mr. Richard McLeod, President of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society. The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center.
Come along with me so that you will see the best company for your road safety. You'll get the theory, you'll get the road, from the best driving school that you can afford.
Hi, I'm Berman Scott from the Real Thing Driving School. You can find us on Facebook. Call me on 925-5094 or call 922-6223.
You'll get the real thing. Yes, it's the real thing. You'll get the real thing. The Real Thing Driving School. Consultation, orientation. Come get your lesson. The Real Thing Driving School.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky or Funky Tanks and Reflections. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, Cayman Islands Olympic Committee, Darts, Miracle Brokers, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
It's Radio Cayman's 43rd anniversary. And to celebrate, we're offering all clients, businesses, and nonprofits special anniversary rates on commercial advertising all through April up until Mother's Day. Increase sales, drive store traffic, and gain customers and interest by advertising on the #1 station in talk radio and news. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. 30 or 45-second commercials are as low as $10 with 3 advertising packages to choose from. Perfectly tailored for small, medium, or large businesses. Call Anita, Kathy, or Ray at 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky for your Radio Cayman 43rd anniversary sales package today.
Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up.
Sing praises unto God, sing praises. Come on, sing praises unto God, sing praises. Hallelujah. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Praising me down, yeah. Praise the healer, praise the healer, jumping. Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping, running. Feel like skipping.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go. Born again. Thank God I'm born again.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Anita Khan sitting in for Sabrina Turner this morning. In the studio with me, the president of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society, Mr. Richard McLeod. Richard, why is astronomy great for small, less populated Caribbean islands like Cayman?
A big advantage we have over large land masses is that the cloud cover is usually less here, so we get clearer skies. We can't do anything if the sky is cloudy. So clear skies are good. And also, being in the Caribbean, we're nearer the equator, and so we can see the northern stars and right down to the southern stars, so we can see a much wider range of stars.
Richard, you make me want to run out and buy a telescope this morning. What type of telescope would be good for me as a beginner?
As a beginner, you want something that doesn't put you off, and some of the cheaper telescopes are a little bit off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
It might be better to get some binoculars first.
Binoculars, okay.
And then look around, see what you can see with the binoculars that you couldn't see with the naked eye. And then decide where you want to go from there, because to get a good telescope you want something with a good stand that's sturdy. You want a good aperture, so you've got a good light gathering power, and then you can get decent magnification,
okay.
And that would add to your pleasure.
So I'll go out, grab one, and what are some of the astronomical events that are happening in the sky, say, for the next couple of months that we need to be aware of, and I need to bring my binoculars over to gaze on?
Well, there's meteor showers in April, and we saw a few last Sunday night when we had our viewing. A couple of people saw shooting stars, so that was obviously outliers from a major shower. You can see the planets, the good planets at the moment are in the morning, unfortunately. Saturn and Jupiter, you'd have to get up early. This morning I looked up and I saw Venus very bright in the eastern sky, and Jupiter right above. They're good telescopic objects.
Susan was asking me, shooting stars, does it make any difference to make a wish when we see a shooting star? What does it mean?
Well, again, that's like astrology. It's fun, but there's no scientific basis that your wish will come true.
Okay. What is being done to promote more astronomical events here in the Cayman Islands?
Well, we just want to reach out to people who are interested, and we're finding more people with telescopes who are interested, who add to our interest and knowledge. And when you have seen the normal things that people like to see in the sky, then you want to look for more. You want to look for galaxies, for example. We had some searching for some galaxies like the Sombrero Galaxy and the Pinwheel Galaxy on Sunday, but that's not something we usually do. But it's just interesting to know that we can see things that are outside our own galaxy, because all the stars that you see are in our own galaxy, the Milky Way.
Right.
But through a telescope we can see other galaxies.
And what would you like to leave with our listeners regarding your association, the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society?
We'd like to leave that we welcome guests. We are interested in promoting astronomy, and if you want to gain some knowledge and interest in astronomy, come out to our meetings. It doesn't cost anything. It's all weather permitting, so you have to look up at the sky first. If it's raining or cloudy, then we automatically cancel.
Do you have any contact details?
Yes. We have a Facebook page. We found that's the easiest way to keep in contact. And that has a messenger attached to it.
And do you have a number on there, or a telephone number?
No, we don't.
No, you don't. Okay, so just go to the Facebook page.
Yes, Cayman Islands Astronomical Society.
Richard, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on the Business Buzz this morning.
Well, it was a pleasure to be here.
I've learned so much about the society, and hopefully we'll see you back in the studio sometime.
Yes, I'd love to be back.
On a bright morning.
Yes.
Our guest this morning was Mr. Richard McLeod, President of the Cayman Islands Astronomical Society. Stay tuned for Time Check. And we've got we've got traffic, weather, and everything. Susan's got all lined up for you. And following that, we'll have our second segment on when our guests will be from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service.
Thank you, Anita. And the studio time now by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
Grand Cayman's Warehouse Shopping Superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Priced Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Priced Right, Grand Cayman's Warehouse Shopping Superstore.
Access and information.
Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. It was another busy day in Legislative Assembly.
To change the composition of the Builders Board, to streamline the qualification requirements for appointment to the Builders Board, to change the categories of registration for contractors and for incidental and connected purposes, be given a second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, the ayes have it.
Along with the Builders Bill, lawmakers agreed on second readings for legislation on design rights, trusts, and the healthcare decision bill. Matters are now in committee stage, which is expected to resume this morning at 10 a.m. And a reminder from the Law Reform Commission that comments on a discussion paper focused on mortgages are due by the end of the month. Radio K-Man's April Cummings has more.
The discussion paper is entitled The Enforcement of Mortgage-Type Security Over Real Estate. Is reform of the law necessary? It was prepared at the request of the Honorable Attorney General, asking the Law Reform Commission to review and consider whether law reform is needed, particularly where residential properties are concerned. Officials say the request came after a great deal of public discussion and concern about foreclosures, citing a, quote, dominant theme of the public commentary on the level of hardship owners of residential property say they've experienced. You can read the paper by downloading it from the lrc.gov.ky website or pick up a physical copy from the Office of the Law Reform Commission. The paper is around 40 pages long. April Cummings, Radio K-Man News.
Submissions should be forwarded to the Director of the Law Reform Commission either electronically to jose.griffith@gov.ky or by mail or hand-delivered to the Portfolio of Legal Affairs at the Government Administration Building. In regional news, a body found in the Caribbean is that of missing New York tourist Portia Ravenel. Dominican National Police said this week the missing couple from New York who mysteriously vanished while vacationing in the Caribbean country were believed to be dead. 41-year-old Orlando Moore and his 52-year-old girlfriend Ravenel left Newark Liberty International Airport for a romantic getaway on March 23rd. They were supposed to fly back 4 days later but never returned. Ravenel was identified via fingerprints with the help of officials in the U.S. Embassy. At a news briefing this week, police in the Dominican Republic said a woman thought to be Ravenel was found unconscious with traumatic injuries to her body on the side of a highway on March 27th. She died several days later from her injuries. Fortune was found. A body resembling the characteristics of Moore was discovered in a car in the Caribbean Sea, about 12 to 18 miles where authorities believe the couple got into a car accident on their way to the airport. They had rented a vehicle to make their way home. Authorities haven't been able to recover the car yet because of the current water conditions, but they expect it is the same vehicle the couple rented on their way to the airport. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Police in London have arrested the founder of the WikiLeaks website, Julian Assange, after Ecuador revoked the asylum he was granted nearly 7 years ago. Pictures showed a frail man with white hair and beard being led out of the Ecuadorian embassy. There are celebrations on the streets of the Sudanese capital Khartoum amid speculation that President Omar al-Bashir has been forced to step down after months of protests. Several hours ago, state media said an important announcement by the military was imminent, but there's still no official confirmation of his departure. The Democratic Republic of Congo has registered the largest increase of Ebola cases in a single day since the start of the outbreak last August. 18 new cases were confirmed on Wednesday. South Korea's highest court has ruled that a ban on abortion is unconstitutional and called on the government to change the law. Campaigners had argued that the ban, which has been in place since 1953, endangered women's lives. The World Health Organization says 56 people have been killed in fighting in the Libyan capital Tripoli over the last 6 days. Thousands of civilians have fled their homes and others are trapped. The city is being attacked by forces of the warlord Khalifa Haftar. BBC News.
Access. Information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiokman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio K-Man is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio K-Man.
Vigoro on Agricola Drive is having their annual tree sale now through April 14th. Get 20% off fruit and foliage trees and 50% off other selected trees. Cash and carry only. Vigoro is supporting Earth Month with this great sale. Everyone should plant a tree. It benefits the Earth and us. Now more than ever, the Earth needs our help. Buy a tree at Vigoro's tree sale from now till April 14th. Only on Agricola Drive. Open from 11 to 5 on Sunday, April 14th.
I grew up with diabetes. The easy part is controlling it with insulin. The hard part is living with diabetes. But there's hope.
Sol Cayman and Asso Station dealers are teaming up with the Cayman Islands Diabetes Association in their goal to create awareness and provide education to their community. Until April 12th, 5 cents from every gallon of fuel sold will be donated to the Cayman Islands Diabetes Association on your behalf. Fill up at any Esso station today and fight diabetes together.
The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Pleasant good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78. Relative humidity is 97%. Barometric pressure 29.85 inches and rising. Winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 73 degrees. Synopsis indicated decrease in cloudiness and showers expected today as a surface trough over the northwest Caribbean weekends. Light southerly winds and slight seas are also expected over the next 24 hours in association with a slack pressure gradient across the area. Radar images show scattered showers east of the Cayman area moving towards the northeast. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Winds will be south to southeast, 5 knots or less. And seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. And temperatures will fall to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 7 minutes past 9, high tide this afternoon at 1:48, and a low tide again tonight at 8:37. The sun will set this evening at 6:40 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:11. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Saturday morning. Heavy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford-Pearson Highway. Extra patience needed this morning and slight delays expected as you're headed down to Georgetown. On Huldah Avenue and Thomas Russell Way, traffic flowing moderately. Steady traffic in some sections, busy in other sections of Crew Road. Coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the Industrial Park area. Traffic is steady but flowing in both directions. On the West Bay Road and from the Ritz, traffic moving along moderately, as well as on Godfrey Dixon Way, Eastern Avenue, and in and out of Georgetown on Shannon Road, moderate flow of traffic. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, light to moderate traffic flow, and traffic is moderate on Aidwood Street in front of the Georgetown Post Office. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll update you traffic-wise. Remember to look out for the vehicle in front of you and the vehicle in the back of you, and buckle up. Have a good morning.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. This is Anita Khan sitting in for Sabrina Turner this morning. Radio Cayman's Business Buzz is sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. And this is the second segment of the Business Buzz this morning. And in the studio, I have, we continue with our regular segment with the RCIPS. and this is every second Thursday of the month. This morning in this segment, we would like to look at the boating, water safety, and burglary prevention tips. And joining us this morning, we have the lovely Jody Ann Powery. Jody Ann is the police media. Jody Ann.
I'm happy to be here. Jody Ann Powery. Yeah.
And she is the police media officer. And alongside her, we have the handsome Sergeant John Andrews, RCIPS joint. Actually, he's Sergeant John Andrews, RCIPS Joint Marine Unit. Good morning, John. Good morning, Jody Ann.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
You need coffee, man. I thought I need coffee to wake up, John.
Oh, I do. I had studying last night. So
you're studying last night. What are you studying for, John?
Public administration.
Very nice, very nice. Jody Ann, you're sprightly, so we'll make John just wake up, right?
Wake up, yeah.
Both of us. Jody Ann. Oh, let's start with John first. Let's wake him up. John, what is the primary mission and responsibilities of the RCIPS Joint Marine Unit, and how many officers does this unit comprise of?
Currently, the unit comprises of 12 officers. Primary mission is border protection for the Cayman Islands.
Okay. Border protection.
Right, and I also deal with fisheries.
Fisheries.
Correct.
So it's fish. Go back over it again. Fisheries, border protection.
So fisheries, border protection.
Okay, that's it. All right. And what enforcement efforts and awareness initiatives does a RCIPS Marine Unit been involved in?
Well, we're constantly on the water on the weekends. During the weeks, we speak to tour operators, constantly reminding them of safety operations, ensuring there's adequate safety equipment on board. We're constantly making checks and reminding tour operators about overloading vessels with passengers. We also speak to patrons up at the Rum Point area on Sundays. It's a popular day for families to go out boating. So we come in contact with people and we speak to them too and constantly remind them of safe boating habits and tips.
Apart from the habits and the tips and good stuff, do you actually enforce some of that?
Yeah, we actually do. Quite a number of times we stop persons on jet skis where it's two persons to a jet skis. The operator will be riding with a vest, a life vest, and they'll often have a passenger on without a vest. So both persons, are required to wear a life jacket when operating a personal watercraft. So there have been times that persons have been prosecuted, for not wearing a life jacket.
Oh, it's a personal watercraft. You're talking about a jet ski?
Jet ski, wave runner.
Wave runner.
It's called.
Okay. Whether it's in a boat or a personal, like you just said, personal watercraft, or swimming and snorkeling, what can persons do to ensure they remain safe and incident-free on the water besides wearing your life jackets?
Well, it's just about exercising, good common sense. Obviously if there's a lot of boating action in an area and you're going to be in the water as a swimmer, as a snorkeler, then you'd want to avoid that. There's a 200-yard marker. We just ask that folks don't exceed that if they're going to be swimming, and if they have to exceed that they have some kind of identification flag, a diver's down flag or some other means to identify them to boaters that's going to be passing by.
But you do have some people using personal crafts who normally come as I've seen them go past those markers.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of times, we have those issues. It's with our visitors to the island. A lot of them not familiar with our laws and those zones, and so they'll come into the swim areas, or they'll come within 200 yards of the shoreline, exceeding 5 knots.
So, I mean, you can't be in all of these places at the same time. So, take for instance, I'm on the beach and I see somebody behaving, going past those markers where they have swimmers and stuff like that. Can I say to them, hey, don't do that, there's a certain distance you have to keep?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing
or is a
wrong
hotline to call if they insist on doing that?
Yeah, you could just call it in. You could just call it into the 911, and they'll dispatch an officer from the Marine Unit to come down and make an assessment. Oftentimes, like I said, it's a visitor to the island, so we can just speak to them, explain the rules to them. We also speak to the operators of the companies and just ask them to remind their guests and patrons that these are the rules as it relates to remaining 200 yards from the shoreline when exceeding 5 knots.
What should boaters do when it comes to being properly equipped with safety gear?
Well, this is another big issue that we find ourselves faced with.
Okay.
There's some small tips you can follow. That's always just constantly making a check on your stock. Stock of items you have on board, your pyrotechnics, flares, flashlights, life jackets, signaling devices. You want to make sure that everything is in working order and that it's properly stocked on your boat before you venture out to sea.
Now, a lot of people, it's just for pleasure on the water. Do you think they comply with these safety equipment?
Yeah, most times people do. There's very few times that they don't, but most times people comply, yeah.
Okay. Who's allowed to operate a boat? That's a big one?
We haven't had much problem with that either. Any person over the age of 16 can operate a power boat.
John, we live on an island. We all the kids should know how to use a boat.
I know, but knowing how to use one and then legally being able to operate one is different,
So what happens if you find someone, say, maybe 13 years operating a boat? His dad has a boat and, he does this all the time, and you come up on him in the water and you're like, why are you operating a boat? You're only 13. What do you do then?
Well, that has happened time before. I myself have been operating boats, way before the legal age limit. It's just an island thing, if you want to call it that. And a lot of our young kids have the experience to operate boats before the age of 16. However, everything is fine until it's not. And so in the event that something happens then involving that child, then it becomes an issue to the parents to allow that child to operate underage.
So what age are we saying again? Age requirement?
16.
16 and over. Okay. So if they're listening, hopefully that they'll comply.
We hope they are.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance of radios while we're on safety and other two-way communication devices while on the water.
Yeah, again, I can't stress enough how important it is to have some means of communication on a boat. Just a normal, easy family outing can quickly turn bad, and you need to be able to reach someone. You need to be able to call for help. And so just making a check report authority before you head out that your two-way radio is working, You can call them, do a radio check. They can respond back. You can establish communications are in place. Also, too, everyone has a cell phone, so it's a good idea to have that with you in a watertight container before you venture out. Just establish communications, before you leave shore. It's always a good idea to have that in place.
And it's also beneficial to let the Port Authority know what your destination will be and what you intend to do out there too, in the event that you don't come back in time or whatever.
Yeah,
they can send somebody out, right?
Right. Provided you're going, if you're planning an offshore trip or if you're planning to, go next door to the sister islands, quite often boaters do that. So you definitely want to let Port Authority know if you're going any distance from shore. It's not necessary to let them know you're leaving home to go to Rome Point, but definitely
why
if you're
not?
going offshore.
Why not?
Well, it's sort of in the North Sound. It's a close area. Rome Point is not that far from shore, so it's a good chance that you'll come in contact with a lot of boaters.
You could take a detour in the mangroves. Through the mangroves.
Take a detour to the mangroves. You'll be on land, so you'll be pretty close to land. But if you're going to venture offshore, like I say, going to the sister islands or out to the fishing banks, then where you're far from any means of help, then you definitely want to let them know.
But like Susan said, try not to go through the mangroves. If you want to go through the mangroves, go on a kayak.
Right. Don't go through the mangroves, please.
Are we at some point? Do you think it'll be mandatory to actually put in place where if you're leaving home on your boat, that you have to check in with the Port Authority?
It's hard to say. If you're leaving home, like I said, you're just going on a short trip into the North Sound, maybe not. But, definitely if you're going to leave and go outside the territorial waters, I think it's mandatory that you do check in with Port Authority and let them know. And you're actually issued a rotation number, I believe.
Okay. Now we're saying if you're going in your boat, whether it's a calm day, just check in the weather report beforehand. Is that necessary?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is absolutely necessary because there's so many times when you wake up in the morning and the sun hasn't properly risen yet, and the wind isn't picked up yet, and the weather's flat calm, and you say, well, it looks like a good day to go fishing. You get out there, and by 10 o'clock, your wind is blowing 20 knots. what it wasn't doing before. So, yeah, the weather can change quickly, and since you have no way of predicting it, it's always a good idea to check the weather plans.
As part of your RCIPS Marine Unit, if that happens, what do you, and you have a call for help, what do you normally do? What's the first thing that you do?
First thing we do is establish communication with the vessel that is in distress or is in need of help. We try to get a location, how many souls on board, the condition of the souls on board, and also the condition of the vessel. Is it sinking? Is it taking on water? How is it faring in the sea? And we just plan from there.
How many boats do you have in the Marine Unit?
Currently, we have 6 vessels, ranging from 24 feet to 65 feet.
I'm not going to ask you any other question because of safety reasons. If you're just joining us, this is Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. Anita Khan sitting in for Sabrina this morning. And the Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. Some tips for personal watercraft operators and boaters. Do you have any tips, John?
Yeah, definitely. For boat operators, always ensure that your safety equipment is up to date and that you have adequate life jackets on board for every person that's going to be on the vessel. Personal watercraft operators, always make sure you're operating with a life jacket on, you and the passenger. Always ensure you're operating craft at a safe speed and at a safe distance from shore, which is currently 200 yards from the shoreline.
200 yards,
always
right.
Keep a lookout for swimmers and other water users.
Okay, while we're talking about tips, a floating plan. What's a float plan?
A float plan basically is just letting someone know about a planned voyage. So it's a planned departure time, planned destination, planned route, times, arrival.
That's it?
Yeah. It's just, it's beneficial in the event, like we said before, that if something happens to you, somebody has that float plan, and they'll see that you're off by an hour or so, and they can call for help to say, they intended to return at 6 p.m., but it's now 7:30. They're not here. This is the route that they intended to take. Can you see if you can find them? That's just the purpose of a float plan, and it's beneficial because anything can happen out on the waters. You can run out of gas, engine failure, that kind of stuff, and you need to let people know.
So do you actually leave that float plan with, say, the Port Authority?
You can leave it with the Port Authority, I believe, but you can also leave it with any family member who will be at home, not with you on the boat, or any friends.
So tell me, Susan is asking Easter tips for boaters.
Yeah, all the tips that John mentioned are beneficial, especially over Easter time. And the reason for that is that we have a lot of campers over Easter. And because we have a lot of campers over Easter, a lot of the campers like to camp at beaches. And so it's important for boaters to, especially at that time, look out for swimmers and people who are fishing in the water and that kind of thing. And it's also important for those campers and those persons using the beaches to understand that there will be boaters, there will be personal watercrafts out there. And so you also need to be on the lookout for that and make sure that you're staying safe. Another thing that I wanted to mention with the campers is just please remember to clean up after yourselves after you've done camping. Don't leave any garbage or debris on the beaches and in your camping sites.
How about things like if they had a barbecue and you have coals, people just dump the coals in the sand without outing the lit coals.
Yeah. That's also a safety issue as well because somebody might not have seen it and walked right there and they would have gotten hurt. So just make sure that everything is outed and just clean up as best as you can.
And let's go back to the float plan. I'm sitting here thinking, I like this float plan because a lot of people leave home. They don't, like you say, they don't tell their family where they're going. They just jump in a boat and they head out to sea. Oh, I've got my cooler, I've got my bait, I've got my rod, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
And by 4 o'clock, the wind picks up and you don't see your family or whatever, your friend coming back to shore, and you get really worried.
Yeah.
With the float plan, somebody leaves a plan with me, and but they're supposed to be back at 4:30, and I don't see them at 7:30. I call the police or I call 911. Period.
I think that if you don't see them at 5:30, you should call somebody.
Okay.
Because the float plan is something that they should be sticking to, and it's better to be safe than sorry. And the more time that passes, is the further a boat can drift off the route that it was intended to be on. And so we want to make sure that, we keep that schedule. And if somebody is in violation, so to speak, of their float plan, then we notify the proper authority as soon as possible so that they can be located. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Because I'm thinking along that missing person thing where you have 24 hours before that a search will start.
But this wouldn't be a missing person.
No, but it's not. Yeah. It's not the same.
This would be a person in distress.
A distress. Okay.
Yes.
Even though that person probably took a detour and forgot they left a float plan and end up at Rum Point and sat there with their friends. And
that's fine.
Yeah,
it's better for us to know that that's what happened than to be wondering if they're ran out of gas somewhere.
Okay, the big one.
Yeah.
Do not operate a vessel while under the influence of alcohol.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not. I know it's a huge temptation to do it since our laws right now don't prevent you from doing it. However, just like operating any machinery or vehicle under the influence of alcohol and any other drugs, it impairs your abilities to react, impairs your vision, impairs your coordination. And all of these things are required when you're operating a vessel. So, you can have an accident on a boat just the same as you can have on a car or motorbike.
But John, we're not going to Rum Point and not have any alcohol.
I know. But
so how can you, is there any way that that operators can be, how can you stop that? How can you stop a boat operator from using alcohol?
It just comes back to being responsible, exercising good common sense. It's difficult for us to stop it, obviously, given limited resources. We're unable to just stop every boat that's going out or check every boat that's leaving shore from every destination or every boat that's leaving the Rum Point area. So advice I would give, is that they'll have to draw straws and see who has to stay sober for the afternoon and be the designated driver or designated captain in this case. Yeah.
Well, John, we've got Easter coming up, and it'll be a really busy weekend on the water. Just appeal to the boat users, please.
Well, as I said, Easter is an excellent time here in the Cayman Islands, and everyone enjoys the beach and the boats more than they usually do. So, just want to remind everyone to exercise good common sense. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Minimize taking unnecessary risk. Think about your friends. Think about your families. And, just be safe.
Good advice.
I'd also like to mention that there probably will be a number of water sporting activities over the Easter holiday as well. So people want to keep on schedule for those things and make sure that they stay clear of those areas. And know the times so that they can avoid being out in the water and out boating in those particular areas during that time for the sporting activities.
That's the voice of Ms. Jody Ann Powery, Police Media Officer. And we have in the studio as well Sergeant John Andrews, RCIPS Joint Marine Unit. Thank you to both of you. We're going to take a quick break, commercial break, make some money. When we come back, we'll be talking about burglary prevention.
Oh gosh. Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule, or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
These are our kids, and just like your kids, it seems that what we tell them goes through one ear and come out the other. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions like whether or not to drink, note that kids say that parents have the biggest influence more than anyone. So talk to your kids. Let's work together to stop underage drinking before it starts. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Anita Khan with you this morning for Sabrina. And the Business Buzz is sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. In this segment, we are looking at water safety as well as burglary prevention tips, and we'll probably touch on some road safety. Julianne, let's talk about burglary prevention. Oh, you're excited to talk about this, right?
Unfortunately, burglaries are one of the most issues that we have with crime on the island. We've often had quite a number of burglaries, but I'm happy to say that in the year 2018 we had a reduction in burglaries from past years. Our crime stats will be coming out next week as well, so you'll see exactly how much of a reduction we had. I think it's something between 20 and 30% reduction in burglaries, but nevertheless, they still are an issue, and it's a big issue. And we've seen somewhat of a spike in recent weeks in the burglaries, especially in the Georgetown area. Now, what we'll find is that over the Easter holiday, when people are camping and they're not at home, or when people are traveling and they're not at home, burglaries will pick up in all the communities. And as a service, we'll do our best to ensure that we have some proactive patrolling in the residential areas to make sure that to try to prevent as much as we can, but we won't be able to prevent everything because we also have a duty to answer calls for services, and that'll take a lot of time. So what we'll be asking is that people just take certain particular measures to ensure that their properties are safe over the Easter holiday. One of the things when I was talking to the detectives yesterday is that they found that persons haven't been locking their backsliding doors if they're not on the first floor. So they think that because they're on the second or third floor, that persons can't get in from the back sliding door with the balcony. Mm-hmm. They're incorrect. That people can still get in. You still are required to close those doors. And with the sliding doors as well, what we ask is that somebody put like a little piece of wood or a broomstick after you've closed it in the grooves, so that even if they do break and try to get in, there's a jam there and it can't move. So that's one of those things that we'd like to mention. So don't forget to close your sliding doors. One of the other things that's been happening is that persons need to make sure that they have proper lighting on their property, whether it be motion sensor lightings or just exterior lightings in general. And if you can afford to, please do get some kind of security system if you're not going to be at your house for an extended period of time. And if you're camping, nothing in Cayman is too far. Just go back home every once in a while and check in your property. Just take a drive back home check on all the doors and the windows and stuff and make sure that your property is safe.
We should have a campers plan then.
Yes. Yes. So I think that in any activity, especially when you're talking about vacation, you should have a plan or, something that's going on. But one of the things that you can also do if going back home is not an option is neighborhood watches are always good. And having a neighborhood watch, it significantly decreases the amount of burglaries that you'll have. And we'll take Bodden Town, for instance, which is Sergeant Pompey's sector. They had a significant amount of burglaries in Bodden Town in 2016 and 2017. In 2018, they launched a number of neighborhood watches throughout the Bodden Town district. I think they have 14 in their district across the beats. And there has been a significant reduction in burglaries. I'm talking about something where in 2017, in the month of May, they had 65 burglaries. But then, like in 2018, in the same month of May, there was only 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like it's a significant reduction. And they do work, if not the signs and decals, but also, the WhatsApp groups where you share information and your beat officer is in that group as well. And so he gets the information quickly and we can formulate a operational plan to whether it be to arrest somebody who's been burglaring the community or just to act on a suspicious activity. And so neighborhood watches are really good. And if you already have a neighborhood watch, just inform your neighbors, inform the committee leader or even the beat officer in that area that, I'm not going to be home. Can you please pay attention to my home? Check on it. Leave somebody a key so that they can go inside and make sure that everything is good.
We talk a lot about neighborhood watch. What's actually a neighborhood watch and how it works?
Right, a neighborhood watch. I'm no expert. You're going to have an expert next week. But a neighborhood watch is basically a group of people who live in in an area who come together and say, you know what, we've been experiencing a number of crime and antisocial activities in our neighborhood, and we've had enough. And so we're going to develop a plan to combat that. And we're going to take shift schedule in doing like civilian patrols in the neighborhood. We're going to petition to CUC to get more lights in our neighborhood. They're just people who develop a plan for the best way to develop their community. And they do so with the assistance of the beat officer in their neighborhood.
So this can happen throughout the islands? Grand
Cayman,
Cayman, Cayman Brac, even Little Cayman?
Well, each island has, Grand Cayman obviously has 12 beats, and so there are about 24 beat officers on Grand Cayman. But Cayman Brac is our 13th beat, and Little Cayman is our 14th, and there are beat officers in each of those, each of the sister islands as well. And yes, neighborhood watches are possible everywhere. Absolutely. Just get in contact with your beat officers and they'll assist you in how to develop one. And they are absolutely beneficial.
And let's say neighborhood watch works.
It does. It absolutely does.
And if you're in a neighborhood and you're listening to Miss Julianne Parry, who should she call if they want to start their own watch?
Well, I'm happy you asked. We have a website. It's www.rcips.ky. On there, we have a beat page, and on the beat page there's a map, and you can look at the map, see where you fall, and you just click on the beat that you fall into. So if you live in Prospect area, then you fall under beat 6, and that beat officer is PC Donaldson. if you live in Bodden Town, like Peace Bay or, Breakers, then you fall under beat 3. And that beat officer is PC Anderson and AC Ricketts. It's really easy. It's real simple. Just go on the website, pick out where you fall on the map, and the beat officer's information will be there, including their cell phone number and their email address, and the sector sergeant as well, if you're more comfortable speaking with them.
Julianne, you're a wealth of information for the RCIPS.
That's good. Thank you.
Next time you come back, you'll be sergeant. 327.
We'll see.
Can you speak to the importance of proper lighting? I know we've talked about doors and locks. Proper lighting and not leaving valuables in plain sight, especially in your car. And also about those alarm systems.
There have been quite a number of car break-ins as well, along with the burglaries. And what I've always said is that just make sure that you don't have any valuables in your car, especially none where people can see them, like cash in your little cup in the middle, in your center console. Don't leave any money, no electronics. If you're going out and you don't feel like taking your handbag with you, don't put it in the car then. Leave it at home. And not leave it in the car. Don't leave electronics on the seats, like your laptops and your tablets, because these things are an invitation for people to break into your car and steal your property. And it's similar in the house as well. When you're at home, put away your stuff in the drawers, like your keys and whatever the case may be. Electronics, don't leave them out on the couch or like on the counters where people can look through your window or your glass back door and see them and be, I guess, tempted to break in. Yeah, I just want to touch on that subject. I know you mentioned about the lights and stuff.
You've been quiet for a while, so it's good to have you back on the mic.
Well, you're back on land now, so that's Julianne's area. But yeah, just to touch on the subject, of the things like security lightings and stuff like that. Not too long ago in the distant past, I myself was a victim of someone breaking into my car.
You're serious?
I am, and they stole my Bluetooth headphones. I was so upset. I really liked those.
Well, you should have known better, John.
I should have known better. But they caught me off guard. It was the first time it ever happened. But after that, I invested in some security lighting, and it's not that expensive. I mean, a lot of the hardware stores here carry it. If you don't find something that you want here, there's always Amazon. And what I would recommend, the type I would recommend is a motion activated LED light. Reason being is these lights, they'll sit there in the dark, so they're not on constantly burning if you're worried about the consumption of electricity. However, when someone walks into a specific area of motion that you have the light set at, there's suddenly a flash or a bright light is on, and so usually that's enough to deter someone that's coming with ill intent to break in. So they go into an area that looks dark and an easy target for them, and then suddenly there's a flood of bright white light. So it normally deters them. So
I just don't have a tree under that light that swings
have a tree,
all
right?
night.
Because it could be on and off all night.
Swing all night, and then it'll drive you crazy, and you'll eventually turn it off. But
exactly. You want to have it, a light pointed, as I say, motion activated light. You want to have it pointed exactly where your vehicles would be, back door entrances, front door entrances, any entrances to your home that you can cover. But these lights are a good idea. And as I said, they're not on all night if you're worried about something like that. It's motion activated. So I would definitely recommend something like that to anyone who has concerns.
Julianne,
Anita, I know that not everybody can afford these, but they've been becoming more and more affordable over the years. But if you can afford to install security cameras on your home, then absolutely do that. I would recommend anybody doing that, because not only would you be able to capture the footage if somebody decides that they want to break into your home or attempt to break into your home, but just the sight of them alone will deter people from trying, because they'll know that they have cameras. It's a possibility that I'll be caught. And speaking of in the event of, the detectives have told me that they've been recovering items cell phones, laptops, TVs, that kind of stuff. Oftentimes we'll put them out on our website for people to look at. The issue is that if you've been burgled and you never thought to record your serial numbers or put some kind of significant marking on your property, then it's very difficult, especially after a number of time has passed, for you to identify that property as being yours. And so they've asked me to mention this and say, especially when you buy new things, just take a picture of the property with the serial number on it and send it to yourself in an email so that you'll always have that information in the event that you are burgled, and that way it'll be easy for them to identify what property is yours.
That's a smart idea.
Yes.
Use your smartphone. We're going to take a break. This is Radio Cayman's Business Buzz, proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
It's Radio Cayman's 43rd anniversary. And to celebrate, we're offering all clients, businesses, and nonprofits special anniversary rates on commercial advertising all through April up until Mother's Day. Increase sales, drive store traffic, and gain customers and interest by advertising on the #1 station in talk radio and news. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. 30 or 45-second commercials are as low as $10 with 3 advertising packages to choose from. Perfectly tailored for small, medium, or large businesses. Call Anita, Kathy, or Ray at 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky for your Radio Cayman 43rd anniversary sales package today.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky or Funky Tanks and Reflections. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, Cayman Islands Olympic Committee, DART, Miracle Brokers, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Thank you for rejoining us on the Business Buzz. We're speaking to Sergeant John Andrews, who is with our CIPS Joint Marine Unit, and Police Media Officer, Ms. Judy Ann Powery. And at this point, we'll touch on road safety.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's going to take this, but
that'll be me. Yeah,
you'll do it, right?
John says, we're on land, and that's my area.
What are some of the government departments and nonprofit organizations and campaigns that you partner with? We partner a lot with the Rotary Club. Especially when they do their Share the Road campaign. Mm-hmm. And we partner with anybody who really who has any kind of road campaign or anything that the police can assist with. To be honest with you, we are happy to assist with any campaign that is going to help us, especially make your job easier.
Yeah, especially campaigns that talk about safety issues. So, we partnered with the Rotary Club for their Share the Road campaign. Mm-hmm. And we also have what I like to call a developing partnership with the NRA for the street skills campaign that we're trying to bring back to life. So, but there's just always going to be a lot of road issues. I had a discussion about this with traffic sergeant the other day, and one of the biggest issues is that we have over 141 nationalities living on this island, which means that there's 141 different ways that people drive.
That's right.
Because we fall under the Geneva Convention, it means that not everyone has to learn our road codes in order to get a driver's license. They can transfer their driver's license, and it's recommended that they read our books and follow our road rules, but it's not necessarily something that is mandatory for them to do.
So don't do a road test at all. They just transfer the license from one country
to the next, as long as they fall under the Geneva Convention.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we have like a different whole wealth of cultures living here in the Cayman Islands, and so we also have a wealth of different drivers and different types of drivers. But there are some things that you must absolutely know. Mm-hmm. One of those things is the school buses. Our school buses are big and yellow, and they have flashing lights.
That's right.
And some of them have stop signs that extend from the sides. Mm-hmm. This means that when those things come on, you have to stop. And it doesn't matter if you're behind the school bus or if you're on the opposite side going in the opposite direction, you must stop. Mm-hmm. Because that school bus is offloading or taking on passengers that are children. They're babies. So please, I'm asking you, don't try to overtake the school bus when it stopped to take on passengers, and don't try to pass it as well, because what you'll find is that you'll find some kids who are not expecting you to be driving off and passing the school bus, just running across the road trying to catch their bus, and accidents happen and you don't want to be on the other side of that accident, because the guilt that you'll feel knowing that you've harmed somebody's child is immense. Please.
How far should you keep what sort of distance should you keep between yourself and the bus?
Well, it's just I'd say like a car length. Mm-hmm. But it's just as soon as you see the lights, just stop. As soon as you see the bus stop, you stop as well, and you'll see the lights come on and that stop sign come on. The stop sign, when you don't follow the rules of that stop sign, you're violating the law. You're not complying with a road sign.
What sort of penalty do you get for that?
You get tickets for that.
Just a ticket?
It depends on the circumstances. Sometimes you can be charged with dangerous driving in a manner, which means that if you're charged with that in the court, that's an instant disqualification and a large fine. So, yeah, it depends on the circumstances for everything. But, school buses are absolutely important. There are school bus wardens and drivers who go into the traffic department on a regular basis with a list of drivers who have violated the school bus.
Wow. Well, they should be named. They should be named and shamed.
Unfortunately, that's how the system that we live in.
In the U.S., I think if you do that, they make you do community service.
Yeah.
I
think I'm glad. I was just thinking about that the other day. I think that if you had people do hard labor for the crimes that they commit rather than having to pay fines, there would be a lot less crime, because people don't like to pick up garbage on the road and that kind of stuff.
All right, so you name them, shame them, right? That's a shaming part. I'm not sure who's going to take this question, but what are some main points that you would like to leave with our listeners relating to being safe on the water as well as on our roads, or relating to even personal safety?
Well, Ms. Jody, I'll leave her on the road where she is. I'll take the water questions. Yeah, definitely. Again, it's not that hard. It's just about exercising. Just good common sense when you're in the water. As I said, think about your friends and your families when you're out there. Even if you're out there having a good time, just remember that someone back at home loves you and wants to see you back home safely. So, yeah, just remember to check your safety equipment. Remember to do inventory on everything on your vessel, on your boat. Make sure it's up to date and in good working order. Make sure you have plenty of gas in the tank. Make sure your coolers are full, and Cell phones charged.
Lots of water in that
cooler.
cooler.
Lots of water in that cooler, especially.
And Julia?
Just specifically for the Easter holiday and just in general as well, please, people, do not drink and drive. Assign a designated driver, call a cab, whatever it is that you have to do, but do not drink and drive. Easter holiday is a family holiday. It's a time for fun, yes, but still be safe out there. Please do not drink and drive.
Don't drink or drive, or boat and drive.
Or
boat and drink and boat.
No drinking and boat.
How can someone keep up to date with the RCIPS?
We update our website on a regular basis. We also have a mobile app, and from the mobile app, any updates that we put, like press releases, out, you get instant notification, so you'll be notified right away of any updates that we have. So I would say the best way to keep up to date with what's going on is to download our mobile app and get those instant notifications.
I didn't know you have an app.
Yes.
Now I know.
It can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store.
Right. And is the RCIPS Marine Unit, your activities accessible from the app as well?
Yeah.
Some of them are,
yeah.
Some of them are.
Whatever. If there's been any kind of incidents, like if they've come across a drug boat and they've had like a major operation, that kind of thing, we would put that out in a press release, and that'll be one of the things that are and if there's been something like a search and rescue kind of activity that makes it to a press release, then absolutely you'll see some activities from them. What we also have is a crime prevention page, and so on there as well we have boating safety, we have road safety, we have burglary prevention tips, so you can go on there and have a look. There's a lot more, some cybercrime safety, everything.
Susan says that your website is excellent.
Thank you. We worked really hard on that.
And now I even have RCIPS on the go.
Yes.
Any last words from either one of you?
Just be safe over the holidays, especially. And good luck to our athletes who will be participating in Carifta.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll be safe too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sergeant John Andrews from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Joint Marine Unit, and also Police Media Officer, Ms. Jody Ann Powery. It has been a very informative show.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having us.
And both of you keep safe on the water and on the land. Thank you, Susan. And we also want to thank our sponsors, Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211. And also Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And this is Anita Khan, sitting in for Sabrina Turner today. Thank you for the opportunity, Susan. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't